to get. Okay, so first thing is just to kind of give everybody a rundown where we're at. We've done all the shouldering, we did the chamfer, we threaded this, and then I've marked this with the bluing die. So we're going to do the rest of the handle today. When you're operating the lathe, you need to make sure you get your sleeves rolled up if you have long sleeves. You also need to make sure that you have your safety glasses on and the guards are in place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn between centers today, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark this out. We're going to mark this out 2 different spots. So like I said, we're done shouldering, so we're going to work on the center portion. So from the end that we center drilled, we're going to measure up 1.7 and put a line, and then we're going to measure 5.7 and put a line. So zero it out, bring it up to 1.7. Really close, that's really close right there. 1.7, and then we just spin this around and we mark it at 1.7. That's essentially where our handle grip is gonna start. 5.7, lock it down, and then that's very close right there. Lock it down, and we're just gonna scribe a mark on that. This is roughly how you want it right here. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is I'll actually lock it down in the chalk first. And you got to give yourself, I can't stress this enough, this might be a little less. You know, you want to give yourself about a ½ inch there, but you still got to have it gripped into the vise or into the chuck, you know what I mean? You can't have this thing hanging out where it's just barely in there. All right, so you lock that down. Okay, there's absolutely no need to over loosen this here. And then I just want everybody to know how this works with the tailstock is when you retract, this is the quill, when you retract the quill, this comes out. So this actually, when this is extended, it should lock itself in. And then to get this, whatever you load in here, it could be a drill or whatever, drill chuck, you want to retract it. So once you get that out to the distance like this, then you can lock this down. And really, you shouldn't really have to touch that a whole lot. You should just have to loosen this and move this. So then we'll slide this up and then tighten it down. Okay. 8, which definitely looks like it is. If I run this in, it's going to probably move up against the chuck pretty nice. See, that fits on there nice and tight, and I know I'm at a 90. Well, this is also why you need to leave yourself plenty of room here, because you're going to be bringing this thing in like so. And if you have this any closer, there's a good chance that you might hit the chuck, and you don't want to do that. It'll damage the tool post and everything else. Does everybody understand that? Okay, the last thing I'm going to do before I start this up, and when I start turning on this thing, you're going to go, okay, that went really quick. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to make sure my auto feed's going in the right direction. So I'm going to go to forward. And then I have my auto feed down here is all the way up, so it should be running my carriage. And I can see how it's turning my carriage, and it's turning away, so I'm going the right way. You don't want to engage your auto feed and then go, uh-oh, I'm going the wrong way, and you ram her into the chuck. Okay, the other thing is we're going to turn this down to 0.625. We're at 750. So how much do we need to take off? 125. So what I would suggest doing is go in and touch off. Take 2 manual cuts of 50 and then a nice finish cut of 25. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to touch right off of my line there. Boom, I touched off. I'm basically at 170. So I'm going to take this in. So if I'm taking to 50, I'm going to actually go past my 0 to 20. And then I am going to manually move this down the line. Okay? So I'm just letting that feed on its own right now. And then because of how we have that cutting tool, we basically already created a chamfer there. So no need to go in and chamfer these. Okay, and then I'm going to move back down. You can move pretty quick here. I'm going to move back down. I'm going to take 50 more. And you'll see the chamfer really come into play here when we take another cut of 50. So it's at 20, I want to go to 70. See that chamfer on that now? Yep, it's starting to get a nice little angle on there. This isn't quite a 45-degree bit, so we're just going to let that go. More to do yet. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop the lathe here once we get to the end. Stop it. These are almost messed up. Okay. All right, stop that. And then I'm going to actually back out 10 thousandths to 60. Remember that? I went back, so now I need to go up 35. And I'm going to slow the lathe down a notch to get a better surface finish. Turn it back on. I'm going to disengage my cutting tool. I'm going to go down to the other end. Now I'm going to take this in 35 thousandths and we're going to take a finishing cut. And we'll see if we're happy with this or not, right? Okay, so I'm at 60. I'm going to go to 95. All right, so we got that chamfer on there. Now I'm gonna just let this ride, and it's gonna go pretty darn slow, but it should give us a really nice finish. Okay, disengage my clutch. I'm going to turn this out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to touch off. See, I just made that little mark on there. Now I'm going to go to the left, back past, and I'm going to go in like 5 thousandths or 10 thousandths. I'm going 10 thousandths, and I'm going to let my auto feed rip here. And this is just going to clean up, this should clean up all the dye and everything. So watch it. If you see that it's not cleaning up the dye, what do you think you need to do?
Go a little deeper.
Yeah, take it 15 thousandths. 10 thousandths should be enough to clean that dye up. we can stop it right there. Back our cutting tool out, loosen our tailstock, move this out, flip our piece around. Now, take a look at that. That looks nice. Let's see how hot that was. Too strong for myself. That looks nice. That's a nice finish on there. Okay, now I'm gonna just put this in here, and like I said, you have to be very careful. Now I'm gonna insert this pretty far so we don't want to have just the end clamped on there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that the jaw is gripping the handle. Okay, now I'm gonna tighten this pretty tight. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Just say forward. I'm gonna come in here and get rid of this. Now, you gotta be very careful when you're bringing this in this close to the chuck. If you hit that chuck, you're doing damage. And I'm very close right now. All right, so we're gonna touch off. We're gonna go back. We're gonna take 10 thousandths. And we're gonna let it auto feed.